Okay, let's dive in. The UK property market. Well, it feels less like a market and more like it's completely seized up right now. We're looking at a bunch of sources today, but a really stark comment comes from Kirstie Allsopp. She basically said the market is, quote, dead.
Yeah, strong words. And our mission really is to unpack what's
Yeah.
causing this paralysis. The sources are pointing pretty clearly towards political jitters, especially, speculation about tax changes, maybe coming down the line before the next budget. We need to look at how these specific threats, or maybe just rumors, are stopping people from making moves.
Right. So let's get straight into that political side. The opposition, specifically Rachel Reeves, the shadow chancellor, there was talk of her flying some speculative kites, as they say. What was the main tax idea being floated that seemed to cause such a freeze?
Well, the big one, and look, it was quickly denied by the government, we should say, but the rumor was about a new tax, a tax specifically targeting people selling homes worth over £500,000.
Ah, okay. And Alsop jumped right on that, didn't she?
She did. Her point was pretty blunt. £500,000, especially in certain parts of the country, well, it doesn't automatically make you rich.
Mm.
She argued it punishes ordinary families, people who've worked hard, invested in their homes.
Yeah, I mean, 500-pound kid gets you very different things depending on where you are, doesn't it? But the bigger point seems to be about taxing mobility itself.
Exactly that. The analysis suggests that government after government has sort of seen the housing market as an easy source of cash. Milking the property market was
Yeah.
the phrase used. But they maybe don't fully grasp that people need to be able to move for jobs, for family changes, retirement. It's essential for the economy to function properly. If you make it too expensive or too uncertain to sell the home you've invested in, people just, well, they stay put.
And that's not just theory, is it? We're seeing real effects. The sources mentioned some pretty stark numbers. Nearly 1 in 5, almost 20% of agreed sales fell through back in August. At the same time, fewer people were putting their houses up for sale. New listings were down 3% compared to last year.
That's significant.
Yeah.
And it ties into the whole process, just taking longer, adding more friction. Apparently, it now takes around 115 days on average to get from agreeing a sale to actually exchanging contracts.
Wow, 115 days. And that's, what, 25% slower than just 4 years ago?
That's right, 25% slower. Deals are just dragging on, creating more uncertainty.
And that existing friction, it's definitely made worse by current taxes like stamp duty. Let's talk about that for a second. Even for getting the speculation, stamp duty right now is a huge hurdle, especially if you're a family trying to upsize. Think about it. Buying, say, a £650,000 home, which isn't unusual in many areas, you're looking at over £20,000 in stamp duty alone, just to move.
Yeah, that's a massive cost. It absolutely makes people think twice, maybe decide they just can't afford to move, even if they need more space. And it hits the other end, too, doesn't it? First-time buyers, that discount they used to get, the threshold's lower now.
Right, it cuts off at £300,000 now instead of £425,000.
Which, let's be honest, in London or much of the South, £300,000 doesn't get you very far. So it feels like it unfairly penalizes buyers in those higher-priced areas right from the start. Again, restricting movement.
And then there's that extra 5% stamp duty surcharge on second homes. That's pretty controversial, too.
Very. The idea is to curb buy-to-let investors, maybe cool the market a bit, but also points out it causes real problems for people in, genuine situations. Think about divorcing couples needing to sort out property, or people whose jobs genuinely mean they need a base in two different places.
They get hit with this extra tax, but she makes the point that MPs get allowances for second homes needed for work. Seems a bit ironic, doesn't it?
It does raise questions about fairness, certainly.
So, okay, tax is one big tangled mess slowing things down. The other major issue highlighted is leasehold reform. This always seems to generate a lot of heat. You hear awful stories, people feeling trapped like they're being robbed by freeholders.
Absolutely. It's a really difficult area, and there's no denying the problems. The government did bring in an act in 2024 to ban new leaseholds on flats, but that doesn't help the, nearly 5 million people already in existing leaseholds?
So what's the solution then? Just abolish leasehold altogether?
Well, this is where Allsopp offers a more nuanced view. She actually argues against complete abolition. Her point is that for complex buildings, especially big apartment blocks with lots of shared services and strict safety rules, you actually need a responsible freeholder to manage things properly.
Okay, so if abolition isn't the answer, what is?
According to Allsopp, the real crux of the issue is access to information. It boils down to transparency. She argues that nothing will fundamentally change unless solicitors are basically forced to up their game, provide crystal clear, full information about the lease terms right at the start. That way, you combat that never buy leasehold advice, which might be understandable now, but ultimately just traps people who need to sell.
Right, so it's about making informed decisions rather than just a blanket ban.
Precisely. Better information, better practices from solicitors.
So wrapping this up, what does it all mean for you, the listener? It feels like the UK property market is caught in a perfect storm. You've got political uncertainty leading to tax fears. You've got these really high transaction costs making moving expensive. And then this underlying legal complexity with leaseholds. It's paralysis from multiple angles.
It really is. And maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. If governments keep treating property ownership primarily as something to tax rather than seeing it as, an important part of the economic engine, how deep will the impact of this inflexibility, people not being able to move home easily, actually run? What does that do to the wider economy in the long term? Something to think about.